Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Duncan Almy here, and I'm with Chad Richards and Lauren Johnson, and we are the co-hosts of the Firebelly Social Show, where we talk with leading entrepreneurs and CEOs.
We have Dr. Jeremy Weiss here of Rise 25, who has done thousands of interviews and successful entrepreneurs and CEOs. And we have flipped the script, and he will be interviewing us.
Thank you for having me. And I'm excited because when I was talking with you guys before, resurrecting a brand. Okay. Everyone wants to know, how to get their brand more out there. So we're going to be talking about resurrecting a brand. But before we do, this episode is brought to you by Firebelly. And at Firebelly, they make brands more likable and profitable through social media marketing. Who doesn't want to be more likable and profitable, right? They provide actually organic and paid social strategies along with influencer marketing to help you get ROI fast. So if you've heard of influencer marketing and you aren't doing it, you're missing out because all the companies I know that are doing it, they catapult. So they were named one of the top 10 social media agencies in the world by Clutch. And actually Clutch just updated their rankings this year and they were ranked 3 globally. And Firebelly has helped clients like Netflix, Qdoba, Fiji Water, and many others transform their social media marketing strategies. So if you want to establish your brand, expand your reach, and get ROI today, contact them. Go to they're super nice people in general and very talented. Go to firebellymarketing.com, contact them, email hello@firebellymarketing.com, or they have an actual number, 317-557-4460 to learn more. Chad, I want to start with you, okay? And let's talk about resurrecting a brand. What brand are we talking about? And just talk a little bit about what they do.
Sure. We're talking about Noble Romans. It's a pizza place. They've been in the pizza making game for a long time, since like 1972. In 2017, they rolled out a new concept called Noble Romans Craft Pizza and Pub. I'm
hungry already. Sounds great.
Yeah, with this new concept, they wanted a fresh social media approach to match this concept as they're rolling out in Indianapolis.
How did they find you?
I believe they found us online, Duncan.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're right next door, but they found us on the Googles.
Very cool. And you were mentioning they have some core values that they live by. You want to talk about a few of those?
Yeah, so they talk a lot about WOW, W-O-W, and creating wow experiences in their restaurants. So everything they do is about creating just wow experiences for their guests. And, because that's something they talk about a lot, we wanted to make sure that we were creating wow experiences on their social media channels as well.
When they first came to you, what were the questions they were asking? Because obviously they want to make sure there's a fit culturally, because culture for them is really important.
Absolutely. I think actually what it was is that very first meeting, Duncan had his son Enzo with him. And that actually impressed them because it's a very family-friendly restaurant. They love kids. It's really popular with kids, parents with kids. And I think actually Enzo was that secret weapon, bringing him in, but of course they had, they just wanted to make sure that, they were new to social media. They'd been around for decades. But they weren't doing a whole lot with their social channels. They were doing some things internally, but they weren't really excited about it. And so they wanted to, because it was a new restaurant, they wanted to generate excitement.
Yeah, I figured, Duncan and Lauren, could you talk a little bit? What questions do you get from companies who are first starting to work with you? What are some common questions?
I think that the common questions we used to get and the common questions we get now are totally different. I think that the questions now are, how can you take us to market? We might already be in the market, but how do you take us to market? And typically, our use cases are brand building and or revenue generation. We don't typically take on work anymore that's just revenue generation. It has to have a brand building and revenue generation component. So it's typically like, what do you think we should do? How can we be better?
Yeah, and I think, Jeremy, specifically with restaurants, it's early on, it was about, growing the community, and then it was, can we engage the community? And then it's become, how can we attribute what we're doing on social media to sales and butts and seats in our restaurants?
Yeah. And so talk about that with Wow. What are some things you did?
Well, one of the first things we did was, we put in these, we didn't install them. We had conversations and they did the installation, these selfie spots in their restaurants. So we created these selfie spots that encourage people to take a photo while they're there, use the Carpe Pizza, hashtag Carpe Pizza. And then they built walls in every single one of the restaurants that they print out the pictures that people post on Instagram and they put them on this gallery wall.
That's cool.
And
Wow.
so it really incentivizes people while they're there to take pictures. So their friends are learning about the brand through, a friend and not just the brand. And people get excited to see their pictures then put up in the restaurant. And so that's been successful. And then really, and I think every restaurant needs to be doing this. It's low cost and it generates traffic and sales, is gift card giveaways. So, just people will say or do almost anything for a free pizza.
I will. Sign me up. Totally.
Yeah, like a $10 gift card. We do these weekly. They generate a ton of engagement. And then what they found too is that, they give away a free pizza or they give away a $10 gift card. Those people don't come in just by themselves. They typically bring other people with them. And so we're generating a lot of engagement on social, and they're bringing people and their friends and family in with them into the restaurants to redeem those gift cards.
Go ahead, Duncan.
In a culture that's jaded in terms of winning, what this has created is kind of a realistic option of winning. It's like, hey, I have a better chance of winning a $10 or $20 gift certificate, and I'm going to respond on social and I'm going to get excited about it than I do of winning a $20,000 prize that, everybody's chasing. And it's even too good to be true. It's like a realistic win.
That's what I was going to ask actually is mistakes people make with giveaways. And you kind of mentioned one, maybe they only do this huge prize and everyone's trying to vie for it as opposed to a smaller one. What are some other mistakes you see companies, maybe restaurants making when they're doing giveaways?
Asking for too much.
It's a greedy marketer syndrome, right? They want the customer to do everything for them, as opposed to with Chad's approach with the Wow experiences. He focuses on the customer. Like, what can I do for the customer on social?
Lauren, or expand on that a little bit. What are some examples of someone that you've seen someone asking for too much?
If you say follow, comment, post a picture, tag 20 friends and share on your story. If there's so many things that someone has to check off just to enter the giveaway, they're going to move on. So you want to keep it simple.
Totally.
The kiss is good.
Yes. Any other mistakes? Go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to, something as simple as, raise your hand in a comment below if this looks good. Really easy.
Yes.
A lot more people are going to participate than like what Lauren just said with asking them to jump through a million hoops for a $10 gift card. People aren't going to do it.
Totally. I'm the same way. I'll see something like, oh, I only have to do that. Cool. I'll do that. That will take me 2 seconds, as opposed to share this with 7 people. I'm like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
What else works? So those are some mistakes. What else works with giveaways?
I've noticed recently that a lot of people are doing giveaways. So when it just starts with a regular image and you can't tell it's a giveaway, it's less likely to have engagement than if you actually write the word giveaway or have, maybe it's a carousel or scrolling images where the first image says giveaway and then the next one has an image of your product. So definitely letting them know off the bat that this is a giveaway.
Yeah, that seems obvious, but people hide it. Why are you hiding that you're giving something away? So I like this restaurant playbook. So selfie spots, gift card giveaways. What else works for restaurants?
I mean, really too, bringing in just foodie influencers, from the area doesn't have to cost restaurants a lot of money. We would put on special events, maybe like a beer and pizza and beer pairing. We were doing pizza and wine pairings, teaming up with local breweries and local wineries. And then just identifying these area foodies and foodie influencers and just bringing them into the restaurant. No charge. They're just excited to be invited to another event, and then they, just take pictures and post about it, and maintaining relationships with them so they come back. And I think that's been really, really helpful.
Teaming up, that's huge. And Duncan, you were mentioning about influencers in this respect.
Yeah, I mean, I think influencers, especially ones that have a track record of producing some kind of outcome, whether it's, the ultimate one, of course, is seats and butts and seats. But
same difference.
Also, getting your restaurant brand in front of their audience who trust them, getting them to create engagement and getting them to participate in something, getting them to try something. And I think that a lot of times, one of the things that Chad and Lauren say all the time is that give me photos, but don't give me overly produced photos. Give me photos that are relatable and are still beautiful. So it's like that user generated content really works there, but also photos that look real.
Yeah. It's more authentic if it's like someone's taking it from their phone. It's not like perfectly touched up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear about the behind the scenes, like brainstorming methods. So you guys are a wealth of knowledge. You've been doing this for a long time. What's on the whiteboard? You're like, okay, we need influencers. Talk to me behind the scenes when you guys get together, the meeting of the minds. What were you brainstorming for them?
I think I remember us talking and Chad leading conversations about the emotional connection that the brand had from being around for decades. And how could we reconnect with those emotions, whether it's, they had animation playing on TVs and talking about the artisan dough, just reconnecting with those memories. And then that was one of the things we talked about, like how can we reconnect? How can we get in front of people in a very geo-targeted way? So we didn't want to reach everyone in the state. We just wanted to reach the people around the immediate vicinity of their restaurants, so it could become a daily or weekly thing.
Yeah, and then Jeremy, it's not as sexy or cool, but just general good old-fashioned customer service. Making sure that yes, we can do these cool, fun giveaways, we can install Selfie Spots and do these fun things, but ultimately, if people have a poor experience, they want that to be addressed, and so. I think that's huge too. And I worked in restaurants for 12 years before, working with Firebelly. So I understand customer service and how important it is. People just want to feel heard or understood. So just making sure that's one of the first things we look at when we start working with any restaurant is, the response rate, and let's look at the reviews. Are they getting a response? A lot of them go, unheard. A lot of there may be negative reviews, not with Noble Romans, of course, but, other restaurants, they have negative reviews. I think a lot of restaurants are scared to address those, and they need to, because not responding is a response. It says you don't care.
Yes. And a lot of times it's a negative review or just a less than stellar experience is just by responding to them and being like, we hear you, we want to fix this. This is not how we normally are. You have somebody who starts off being angry and then they turn into, no, I really love you guys. It was just, everyone has a bad night. And so they go from like potentially telling all their friends and sharing how this business is not great to going back to being one of your advocates just because you reached out.
I bet those people sometimes become your biggest advocates because it's a wow experience. Like you said, Chad, maybe most people aren't even addressing their negative comments. So just even acknowledging is a good thing. What have you seen some best practices? So, restaurants listening, a chain, or any company, what's the best practice for responding to negative comments or reviews?
Well, I think respond.
Yeah.
Respond. And you know what? It's if you've made a mistake or if they are under the impression, perception is everything. So if they've perceived that you've made a mistake, you just need to apologize for it. And what we'll do is, we'll thank them for bringing it to our attention. We always thank them for it. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. Number two, we're going to share this with the restaurant or the team so that they're aware of this. And so your next experience, or if other people are having the same experience, there could be something we need to change. Let the team know. And then number three, it's, do something to make it up to them. So that's oftentimes, send them a gift. We'll send you a gift card so that your next one's on us. And a lot of times, like Lauren mentioned earlier, when you offer them a gift card, they'll say, "Oh no, we understand. Restaurants have a bad night. It was a busy night or whatever." But they just appreciate that you have heard them, you've acknowledged their complaint, and you've let them know, "I'm sorry, and we are going to share this with the team."
Some results at the end of this. So you're talking with a longstanding brand, you're helping them. What were some of the results of working together?
I mean, the exciting thing was just to see, I'm a competitive person too. So I like to see how, the previous brand, how this new brand looks compared to the previous brand, which still has channels on social. We just saw humongous growth in, the audience size on their social channels. Like Duncan said, just targeting people within like a 3 to 5 mile radius around the restaurant. So we know these are not just people that like the brand, but they're likely to actually come into the restaurant. That's something we talk about a lot is, people throw on likes a lot, but the conversations we have with Noble Romans is we talk about likes and then likelihood. So that's great. We've got likes. What is the likelihood of these people actually coming into the restaurant? So huge growth in audience size. They're really excited about they care so much about their customers and customer service that, their response time previously was, over a day, which is better than some restaurants. Some we see they're not responding
6
at all.
months later, right?
Now it's under an hour. So every guest is being responded to in under an hour on average. And then every single guest is getting a response. So previously it was about, a half to 2/3 were getting a response. And sometimes because Facebook and Instagram, their notifications are everywhere, sometimes brands just generally don't know where to find these things, like where the reviews are, where the DMs are, where the wall posts are, where the comments are. It's just so much. So it's, but bringing the response rate up to 100% was great.
That's huge.
And then internally for us, it was exciting. We won a bunch of industry awards for our work with them. So that was exciting for us internally. And it excited them too, and their shareholders.
Yeah. Under an hour. That's pretty amazing. If anyone gets responded to at all, let alone in a fast, quick manner, people are impressed just by that alone.
Yeah.
I wonder, any final thoughts, Chad, you could start, and Duncan and Lauren, just overall, it could be about Noble Romans. It could be just about restaurant, marketing and social media in general.
I'll jump in as Chad's thinking about it. I know that, using a funnel approach, although it sounds crazy, but even with telling stories, we've used the funnels where at the top of the funnel, Chad and his team created this gorgeous video that talked about them coming to the neighborhood and showed everything in action. So there was this visceral visual connection immediately, and they targeted the hell out of it. I mean, people saw literally millions. That video was seen millions of times. And then we worked down the funnel with engagement and, integrating ads to get those stories out in front of those people. So I think that just bringing it all together, like Chad just really directed and produced a fantastic effort to bring it all together.
Love it.
Oh, thank you, Duncan.
It's telling that story and then targeting the likelihood of people who should be looking at that. And that leads to that kind of avalanche of people seeing it, liking it, going in and actually trying it.
Because, I think at the end of the day, I know the things that he keeps saying to me about this is that we had to build their brand again. We had to prove this amazing customer service experience out even on social, and then we had to also help them generate revenue. So it's a very complex, it sounds like, oh, restaurant marketing is easy. In this situation is a very complex case.
Cool. Thanks, Duncan. Lauren, Chad, final thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things you can do, the brands can do, restaurants can do, and they should do those. but really just being genuine and sincere and remembering this is about your customers. Restaurants, it's so competitive because there are 10 other restaurants around yours. In a pandemic, they're struggling. And for some restaurants right now during this pandemic, social media is the only door that's open for them. So I just think it is like important to just be responsive and look at what your customers enjoy. So look at the content that they respond to and do more of that. Don't try and shove a bunch of marketing messages that you want them to know down their throat.
Yeah. Meet them where they're at. Lauren, what about you?
So I'm going to throw a little fact figure at you. The human processes images 60,000 times faster than they do text. So using user-generated content, influencers, staff, or a professional photographer, just make sure you're capturing what the people want. So show them the food that they're going to get when they come in the restaurant, because that's what they're going to see first in the feed. And that's what they're going to be most likely to remember and engage with.
That's a great point. Whenever I see mouthwatering food, that definitely gets me going. So first of all, I want to thank all of you for having me. This is a great, great episode. We should point people towards your website, firebellymarketing.com, to learn more. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.